Hello and welcome to the next part of building the SQLite application. So in this lecture, what we will do is that we will start building the task class, which is basically going to hold all the data related to our task. So in this lecture, what we will do is that we will go ahead and create a new class, which is going to be called as task. And what the task class is actually going to do is that it's actually going to contain information related to the tasks which we are going to add to the database. So the first thing which you need to do is that you need to go to the Java folder and you need to go to the first folder, which is this folder right here. Simply right click over here and create a new class, and let's name this class as tasks. So tasks is going to be the name of this particular class. So simply hit OK and we are basically good to go. So in order to keep things simple, what we are going to do here is that we are going to go ahead and have only two attributes for this particular task. So each task in your database is going to have two attributes. The first attribute is going to be the ID, which is nothing but it's going to be an integer value which is going to uniquely define your particular task. And the next attribute of your task is going to be the task itself. So let's say you could include tasks like eating, playing, sleeping, or anything like that. So these are the two attributes which we are going to define. So let's directly go ahead and define those attributes over here. So we type private int, and then you need to specify the ID. So ID is going to be one of the attributes, and in order to distinguish these attributes, that is the attributes defined in the class, to that of the attributes defined in the database, what we will do is that we will add an underscore sign over here. And let's create another attribute which is going to be the task itself. So we type in private, and this is going to be of the type string underscore, let's say task name. Let's say task name is going to be the name of the task. So once you're done with this, you're basically good to go. So the next thing which you need to do here is that you basically need to go ahead and create construct. We need to have an empty constructor. So we type public void tasks. So this is basically the empty constructor, and you also need to create one parameterized constructor as well. So that is going to be public tasks and is going to accept a string value of the task name. So make sure to have the task name over here. And then what we do is that we type in this dot task name, which is underscore task name equals task name. So if you're familiar with Java, you might know what I'm doing over here. We are basically adding the getters and setters method. We are just basically going ahead and creating the required constructors. So now we need to have the getter methods for the ID. So what we do is that we type in get. And as you could see, as soon as we type get, Android Studio automatically puts up two options in front of us. So the first method is for the get task name, and the next one is for get ID. So first we will use the method for the get ID, which is public int get ID, which is going to return the ID. So we will do the same thing for the task name as well. So you don't have to write the entire code. You could simply type in get and hit enter, and those methods are going to be automatically added to your class. Now once we have the get methods, you also need the setter methods for ID and the setter methods for the task name as well. So you go ahead and add those to your class as well, and once this thing is done, we are pretty much good to go. So the main significance of these methods is to basically get the task and set the task. So basically this is similar to what we have done in the food application in case of designing a list view. That is, we basically have a class which is basically going to set the data and get the data. So this is the object-oriented way of programming things in Android. So that's it for this lecture, and I hope you guys were able to understand how we have designed this task. So task is basically going to have two attributes. The first attribute is going to be ID, and the next attribute is going to be the task itself. And what we have done here essentially is that we have added the getters and setters method for the task, and we have two constructors in this class as well. So in the next lecture, what we will do is that we will start learning how to basically go ahead and start using the SQLite database so that we could add this data to the SQLite database in your application. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.